Hey mate, you all right?
How you doing? Yeah, how you doing? Thanks very much for speaking to me.
No, it's all right, mate. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Where are you now? You got like a big poster behind you. Where are you? Where you at?
Yeah, I'm just in my office at work.
All right. I thought it was like
Yeah.
the Lilacs poster or something behind you.
No, it's the company slogan.
All right. Listen, on congratulations on the. I won't keep you too long if you're in the office. I want to don't want to get you into
No, it's all
trouble.
right. No, it's all right. End of the day, mate. Finished at 5. I'm
Yeah.
just no
All right.
problem. I'm in no
Cool.
rush.
So congratulations on the EP.
Thank you.
Two new songs. One of five new songs, but two new songs for people that have not heard it yet. So
Yeah,
you must be really buzzing to get that out there now.
yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. I am, mate. I mean, I just think that the 5 new tracks that we've written for this EP are just far more mature. If you know what I mean. I think the
Yeah.
5 that are out there are really like setting the foundations for the Lilacs kind of moving forward, really.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, they've just got continuity through the tracks. I mean, I think some of our old stuff is really good. Obviously, Vicarage Road and Grace and Sticking on
Sure.
Toes, a few of the tracks are really good, but they all still feel to me kind of a little bit disjointed. Where I think the 5 that have come out, they feel, I don't know the word, it's just professionally done and there's
Right.
continuity throughout. And I think the lyrics are great and things like that. I'm just really excited to almost, get them out there and play them for
Yeah.
people as well.
I mean, like you said, that it kind of sounds like it's like something that came together kind of around the same time because it sounds like you went in with a kind of a plan to create five songs that would be kind of
Yeah, so I
similarly
mean,
themed, maybe.
yeah, I think they all actually come under the same theme, don't they? If
Yeah,
you obviously if you listen to the lyrics and things like that, they're all about either some form of relationship or misspent youth and wild nights out and things like that. No, I just wrote a lot of it was written about situations that have happened between either myself and the band or some of the other lads, other stories, things like that we just picked up on. I think there's in You're Not That Daft. There's a bit. The opening line is. Do you remember that night when we caused a racket? We got let back in because we both swapped jackets. That actually happened. That was me and Dave up in Glasgow after a gig one night. I know it sounds cliche about swapping jackets, but it actually happened.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, no, I do. We went in with a plan for 5. I mean,
Right.
but we only had 4, but at the time, but we needed to get the last song, the name of the last song, printed on the vinyl and sent off. So
All
I
right.
actually just came out. I actually came up with the song "One More for the Road" just like that, and thought, right, I've now got to write a song on
Yeah.
the back of a
Got to be
name.
called that
Usually it
one.
goes the other
Yeah.
way around. Usually you have to choose one of the more vocal lines or something like that, and choose that. But this actually happened the other way around. So that's a little fun fact for you there.
Uh-huh. And but so you wrote the title for that, but so how long did it take you to actually come up with the music and the lyrics for that one afterwards?
Not that, to be honest with you, quicker than I thought it would. I thought it was going
Yeah.
to take a lot longer, but I don't know. I just got the kind of the chord structure and the melodies together, and the verses came very very quickly. They were like and they just came to me like I don't know where the lyrics came from. They're just like, yeah,
Yeah. Uh-huh. I mean, you said that it's kind of like looking back at things that you've done in the past and misspent youth. I mean, I mean, just speaking to you, I feel like an old fogey anyway. But it's like you look too young to be kind of like thinking back at to kind of misspent youth and time at the uni that
no,
you,
yeah, no. I mean, obviously, I'm 25, so uni was. I know,
yeah.
I know
So
what
I
you're
double you.
saying.
So yeah,
Yes, I know that those days were 4 or 5 years ago. So yeah, misspent youth possibly not the right word because I suppose I'm still in my youth, aren't I? I know what you're trying to say,
yeah.
but it's kind of about those nights out in university and things like that. That's
Mhm.
what they're about, really.
Yeah, no, man, because I mean, you said it feels like it's kind of like the most mature stuff that you've written so far. I mean, obviously, everyone thinks that kind of the new stuff is feels like the kind of the best and the most mature. But I imagine you felt like you wanted to kind of lyrically. I imagine you wanted to write something that felt kind of more mature
Yeah,
than
they
the stuff
just
that you'd produced beforehand.
yeah, I think they just make sense more. Like, not to say that any of our other stuff don't make sense, because I do
Yeah,
think one thing about our band compared to other bands out there is that our lyrics make sense. They almost tell a story. You get like Oasis and things like that. Some of their lyrics don't make sense, but they're just class.
it doesn't
But
matter. Yeah,
where
yeah,
it doesn't matter. Or Coldplay sometimes I find, but there are. Whereas I do think that a lot of our lyrics tell stories, but I just think this time round they literally tell a story just straight from the off to the exact end. I genuinely believe that, and that's where I think that maturity's come from. And different, even if it's just different language used, a little bit more intellectual language has been used. compared to our other stuff. So
I mean,
that's
having
what I
said that
kind of
though,
mean
at the
by that.
same time, you do also kind of mention specific kind of places, and I think the EP is actually named after a bus that you used to catch and things like that. It's very kind of specific
Yeah,
to where you're from, no? Was that that was all
yeah,
very consciously done as well?
yeah. I mean, that'll never change. I do write about, you know, and all that. That is a bus that you can get in Wigan to a place called Skem, which isn't the nicest place. Sorry if you anyone's from Skem, but yeah, obviously Johnny Marr gets a mention.
Yeah.
Um, there's an old nightclub that used to Independence in Wigan, which was an indie club, so that used to play, you know, indie songs. What else is there? Like the calling it a night. There's like rum and coke and things like that. You know, grab your coke because you're calling it a night. Put down your rum and coke. Things like that. Yeah, I do have. That'll never. That'll never change. I will
Yeah.
always have those mentions because I think those are the kind of things that our fans specifically they hold on to those little bits because obviously they
Yeah.
can literally you can relate to that kind. You
No,
know
yeah,
exactly
definitely.
what
I mean,
they're
I
on
was
about.
because when I was listening to it, I was listening. It reminded me quite a bit of Pope lyrics, Jarvis Cocker's lyrics, kind of like stuff
Yeah,
from Sheffield and that kind of stuff as well. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that I'm not even purposely doing that. And like that is just happening. That's just how
Just
I'm
you.
writing in
Yeah.
my head. You know, it just kind of happens. And I think you know, I have taken things out that were more. I just felt they were a bit too cheesy, so I will have meant
Right.
originally when I first written some of the songs. Sorry, there will have been things in there like the Johnny Marr and like the club that I just thought were just too much. I took them out and put something a little bit more generic, if you
Right.
will, in there.
Uh-huh. But
Yeah,
I mean, when you do that, do you kind of second guess yourself and you kind of wish maybe you had done afterwards sometimes? Like a lot
yeah.
of,
I mean,
I mean, obviously, when you release something, you've got to kind of say goodbye to it almost and say, right, this is done. We can't change it now. But at the same time, I guess there's certain lyrics that you
I
kind of
know.
you would like to because it kind of reminds you of stuff. Now it gets the nostalgia. You get
Yeah,
nostalgic about
yeah,
it.
yeah. Of course, definitely. I mean, to be fair, the Johnny Marr lyric weren't going to go in there. A couple of the lads
Right.
were. They thought it was a bit too cheesy, but I thought I'm leaving it in because, like I said, those are the things that people hold on to. Do you know what I mean? They almost they relate to those. That they'll be listening out for that Johnny Marr lyric if that makes sense and things like that. And I think that's crucial in the scene that we're in. You know,
Yeah.
so
Especially
yeah,
now. I mean, obviously, there's so many Wigan bands doing so well for themselves right now. I mean, there's the Lathams that are fantastic, just released
yeah,
an
yeah.
album, and then the Stanleys as well. They're
Look,
great.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
imagine you know all those guys, so that must be going to really help you to kind of find gigs and kind of spread word of mouth a little bit as well about the band, no?
Yeah, yeah,
Farther
of course. I
afield.
mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely helping put Wigan on the map. We don't really do many gigs together, to be honest, and
Yeah.
there's no real reason for that. I suppose that's just the way that it's kind of happened, if you know what I mean. But I think, yeah, you know, with ourselves, Stanley's, I think lottery winners as well.
Right.
They're up from,
I spoke to Tom the other day. It's fantastic. I think you went on tour. What you did? You've done a few gigs with them now.
yeah,
He's
we've done. They're
brilliant.
good
Tom's
friends of
brilliant. Yeah.
ours. Yeah, really good friends of ours. That's kind of our friendship is just kind of I don't know, just grown over the last couple of years, doing gigs together and things like that. Plus, obviously, being from the same town. I mean, they'll say they're from Lee. We're from Wigan. It's the
Yeah.
same place, mate, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose we're all just putting Wigan on the map. We get that question asked all the time. There's lot of good stuff coming out of Wigan, isn't there? And I suppose there is, yeah.
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 hmm hmm but I mean, I imagine there was kind of a music scene. I imagine there is a music scene going on there. A lot of places to play live and stuff like that. Small places
Yeah,
to kind of get
there's a,
started.
there's a lot, yeah, there are a lot of small places to get started. I think once you start to get to, you know, trying to grow into like the 1,000+ kind of venues, then it's kind of you are kind of limited. I think that's partly the reason why we do a lot of our hometown shows, if you will, in Manchester, just because there's more uh, venues accessible. But specifically for up and coming bands starting up, yeah, there's plenty in Wigan. There's loads,
Hmm
absolutely loads. Couldn't have asked for a better town, really. And maybe that's probably one of the reasons why there is such you know, a heritage for music within Wigan. You know, obviously the Verve, they probably helped, and
Yeah.
all the band Star Sailor, I think they have bits from parts from Wigan, and
Right.
I think Oasis used to rehearse in Wigan or something. Someone was
Oh, they
telling
used to
me.
rehearse. Really, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Apparently, yeah, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
So you know, there is quite a lot going on in Wigan. A lot of the bands who are from Wigan rehearse in the same block. There's an old mill called Eckersley Mill, and within there, there's like um, a block of rehearsal rooms, and there's quite a lot of bands that are in there. There's loads of Stanleys are in there. I think Laverns are in a different part. They've got their own bigger part. We've actually quite fortunately got our own bigger part, but realistically, we all go through the same front door.
The same place. All right.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. I mean, how did you find? Did you all kind of find out about this? Is it just kind of like the place to go when you form a band, or is it
Yeah,
just kind of word of mouth?
yeah.
Yeah.
It was like almost, yeah. I mean, we've only been in there sort of 3 years, to be fair. But prior to that, like it used to be called Shy Wolf, and Shy Wolf was infamous for bands. It just was. Do you know what I mean? And then another company, well, a couple of two brothers took over it and changed it to Wigan Pier Music Collective because it's over the road from the pier.
Right.
And I don't know, an opening just came up and we thought, right, we're having that because it's the permanent rooms. That's the big thing, you know. They're not like pay by the hour. So we were looking for somewhere we could go late nights writing or mornings or whatever that may be, but you just get your own key and you go in, do you know what I mean? So I think that's what's good about them.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
So what I want to speak to you about is the producer that you had on the on this EP as well, because he must have really kind of brought his own sound, because there's definitely kind of some sound of some of the stuff that he's produced before on there. How much input did you get from him once you'd kind of written the songs and taken them to the studio with him?
A lot of input, not so much in the writing of the songs, just maybe the production and things like that. Like, yeah, obviously he is who he is. He's had numerous #1 albums produced. Obviously, he did Louis Tomlinson, and obviously he's done things with the court. Obviously, the Cortinas, Slow Readers, yeah. So he's got a plethora of decent albums out there.
Yeah.
So you almost you have to listen to him, don't you? Like for us, newbies to the game, you know, naive almost, you'd be stupid to not take his advice on board. But I don't think he didn't tell us what to do. Everything was collaborative. Everything was open to discussion. I would say to him, Joe, what do you think about these lyrics? He'd go, well, I like them. You're like, he changed the song, the 395 to Forever used to be the 395 to Southport.
Right.
But he said it was you just narrowed down your market, whereas to Forever, I mean, you know, it could be anyone can relate to that, if you know what I mean. And it was just like little things like that, little, I don't know, what's that wisdom, if you will, that like he offered us. But yeah, like I said, very, very collaborative.
And I mean, you said there about the names of songs and little things like that, little touches. What about the kind of sonically? Was there anything about the specific sound that he maybe kind of said, maybe if you tweak this a little bit, maybe it'll sound a little bit something else?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, ultimately, we gave him the references, and obviously he's in the Cortinas, and there's no hiding away from the fact that my biggest inspiration are the Cortinas. I love them; they're almost my heroes.
Yeah.
So to be working with Joe anyway was just
crazy.
like, wow, this is just amazing. So he knew what kind of sound we were looking for, albeit he knows that times have changed. So writing and producing for the sound of old school Cortinas isn't actually as relevant these days. Things are a little bit more punkier. He was saying a little bit more grungy thing. You know, so even though he's tried his best, we've done our best to bring old school Cortinas into the modern day. So there has been tweaks, you know what I mean? Because times just change. Yeah.
So I would say that. Because, sorry, I was going to say that, like you said, because you were kind of like, it was cool to manage to kind of get into the same studio with him. There must have been something that you were kind of really want to kind of ask him about, kind of what do you think about this? What do you think about this? How can we change this? Was there anything specific that you wanted to ask him as soon as you met him to kind of talk about the album?
Possibly not as much for the EP. I think a lot of the questions we had for him were more to do with like just the music industry itself and maybe some of the stuff that they do live. You know, there were a couple of questions about in-ear monitors and things like that, and various other stage kind of setup questions that we were asking him about, but not so much like physically about the EP. No, I mean, I think we were just looking forward to getting in with him. What's really cool about Joe is, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, is that like we work with other producers and you go to some grand kind of, you know, studios and things like that. Whereas Joe works realistically, he's just a home studio in a container in Manchester.
Right.
But yeah, his sound that he gives us is far better than anything that we've worked with, you know, and that's no shade on, no slant on the producers.
No, there's quite a few albums that I've heard that have been done like in an attic or in a garage, and they sound so much better than a lot of studio albums that have been produced. Yeah,
honestly, you go in and you're almost underwhelmed going. You think, obviously, for us young lads new to the game, thinking, right, we're going to work with one of the Cortinas, and this is you're thinking that you're possibly going into something with a live room and a piano and all that, but you're not. you just two couches and a desk, and that's it,
Yeah.
and a mic that's and a Stratocaster that's just in the corner. Oh, just let's just use that, shall we? Like it's
Yeah.
nothing's polished, but I think that's what's so amazing about it. I think that's
I think that
the
helps it. It's
sound.
like, I mean, I always remember the Manic Street Preachers, the Holy Bible. For
Yeah,
me, it's
yeah,
like the
yeah.
best album. That was just like done in the middle of a garage somewhere as well. And it's the best sound that they've got of all the albums that
And
they've
that
put out. Yeah.
it was yeah, that was almost the sound that we were going for as well. We
Yeah.
were going for that sort of band in a room, unpolished kind of as
Yeah.
best we could, obviously. Sound, and I think we think he's nailed it, mate. I'll be honest with you. We're over the moon with
Uh-huh.
what we've produced, definitely.
No, I think so too. It's fantastic. But what I would say is it's kind of like the perfect album. When I keep calling it an album, an EP for
It's okay.
just getting ready to go out on a weekend. It's just kind of that perfect kind of music just to put on and listen before you're getting ready to go out for a night out on the weekend. I
Yeah,
mean, it's obviously reminiscing about stuff like that, but it just it's kind of really upbeat and really kind
yeah.
of gets you into the mood for the weekend. Yeah, it's really good.
No, yeah, exactly. Like I said before, like that's. I just found myself this time. Excuse me. I found myself this time just. That's what I wrote about. That's what just came to mind. It was all the weekends out and things like that, and I just thought, I'm just going to go with it. I'm just going to run with it. And, and they're the ones that obviously stuck. I mean, I had to write one more for the road, almost had to be about some form of going out drinking because that's obviously a well known phrase, isn't it? Go on, I'll have one more for the road.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
So I mean, obviously, this is coming out on Friday.
Friday,
So
yeah.
I'm going to put the video out as soon as I can, either today or tomorrow or early tomorrow. So can you tell people how they can meet? Because I think you're going around to various stores, is that right? Signing and stuff like that to promote the release the next couple of
Yeah,
days.
so we're in Bury on Friday. We're doing a matinee show that's got some tickets left, and we've obviously got the evening show. There's I don't know, I think one's at 5, one's at 7. We are in our hometown on Saturday. We're in Wigan, a place called Fat Bird, and then on Sunday we're in Kingston with Banquet Records in London.
Yeah,
But
so
that's
I think they just posted an Insta photo on Instagram with they've got all the EPs, the vinyls
yeah.
all ready to
I
sign
mean,
and
it's
everything.
funny
Yeah.
really because I've not even seen them all. There was I put we've got a fan page. There's probably about 3,000 people in it, and I posted in there the other day saying, "Does anyone know where I can or pre-order the limited
Grab a copy.
edition?" But yeah, exactly. And it broke Facebook because everyone's like, "But because I was like, I don't even. There's that many different variants and things. I don't even
Yeah.
know. Do you know what I mean? But like, I've seen them all now. I know them all, and they all look really good. So I am looking forward to going buying them. I think there's something quite special about going to the record store, buying your first EP and things like that, and your record and things. So I will be doing
Yeah.
that as well.
Uh-huh. It's crazy how many people get on board and they do buy physical copies. Really
I know it's
surprising me. Yeah,
amazing.
it's just getting
I
better and
think
better.
there's an avid fan base of people that probably do just buy as well, just because they know it's going to help with the charts, and I think
Yeah.
that's absolutely amazing. Like there will be some people out there who are just buying it, out spending 20 quid on a vinyl for us. Who probably just lived in a wardrobe. They're doing it, to
Yeah. No,
to
but people
help our
people
band.
go
And
out
I
there
think,
and I remember like Shed 7 where had like so many different things and the people were buying like 20 different copies of the same
but
album but
I
just in
know,
different versions just to get them up to the top
and
of the
you
charts.
exactly, and you think how many other bands that they're doing that for. Like
Yeah.
there's absolute loyal fan base out there.
Mhm.
And ours is pretty loyal as well. Obviously, I can't thank them enough, really.
No, it's so
That we're in a
important because
position.
I think buying an EP, I think it's like the equivalent of about 1,000 plays of a song on Spotify or something like that. I was reading the other day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something like that. Yeah, especially if that's even just the download. You don't even have to spend 20 quid on
Yeah,
the vinyl.
that's
You
right.
can
Yeah,
just
on
download
Apple or
the
whatever.
or
Yeah.
Apple or whatever. Yeah, and it's a fiver. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that will go a long way for us. I mean, our fans so far have bought enough that we're going to enter into a decent chart position, which is really really good.
Mhm.
So hopefully people just keep buying more to help us out, and hopefully we can get a decent chart position with it.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. I mean, you definitely got plenty of people behind you. You can see that on social media and stuff. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
obviously, I mean, you said you've got all these different signings that I think they're all sold out pretty much. No, you had to add one. I think you added an acoustic set because they were all sold out now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just another way of hopefully getting a few more sales, and
Wonderful.
obviously we're really looking forward to actually going out there and doing these different shows, these acoustic shows, and obviously with Berry selling out in, I don't know, I think it was half an hour, 40 minutes or something like that. It was like, right, okay, let's see if we can put another date on for them just because the demand was there. So
Yeah.
you've got to do it, haven't you?
Brilliant. But then after that, I think, is it in April, you've got quite a few days coming up now.
Yeah,
All
it
the way
starts
through to
next
like
Thursday.
the 12th.
Yeah,
Liverpool,
27th of 27th of March. The 395 to Forever tour starts.
Uh-huh. So I mean, that must be pretty
But
crazy for you because obviously, I mean, you're at work now. I mean, you just finished work, so I mean,
yeah,
imagine what have you got to take a bit of time. Is it you taking your holiday time off now to go on tour? Or how does that work? How do you manage
yeah.
to balance them to both?
I'm I'm quite lucky because obviously my family own the company that I work for. I
All
work
right.
for the family business, so I have got quite a bit of leeway, if you will. So for me it's not too bad. But for some of the other lads, yeah, it will be a case of holidays, taking the holidays,
Right.
trying to get off a little bit earlier and stuff. It can be tough because you're doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then driving home Sunday. So then you come home and you wake up Monday, you do 3 days at work, and you're back at it again. It can be quite a slog, but you've got to do it, haven't you? Do you know what I mean? You've got to put the hours in and the miles for sure.
Yeah, but I
And
imagine when
that being said, mate, can't wait. We love it. Do you know what I mean? Like
that's what I was going to say. I was going to say exactly the same thing. I mean, I
yeah,
imagine
exactly.
it's almost like waiting for the weekends, waiting for Friday for you. And it's like, right, we're going to go and do a gig next Thursday or
you
whatever.
come
It's
in
like,
the depression on a Monday morning, if you will, is real. Do you know what I mean? You're like, oh, right. And then you're waiting for Thursday, and Thursday morning comes, and you're like, oh, all buzzing because the van's going to come and pick you all up, and you're going to head to the next venue on the tour. Which, yeah, we love it. We absolutely love it. We just love being together as genuinely our cliche four best mates, really, mate. And obviously to get to go. I mean, this tours. There's a lot of sold out venues on there,
I was
and
looking.
if they aren't
Crazy.
sold out, they're not far off. So like, they're in my eyes, they're all virtually sold out. So I've almost got a virtually sold out tour. So to do that with, I don't know, 4 of your best mates, 3 of your best mates, is just it's just mega. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Just to finish off, obviously, you've got these songs coming out. Have you played them live already? The songs that are going to be released on the EP, or is it going to be?
Yeah, so we've played
play
a
them?
couple. We've played a couple of them, but there's two or three that have never been played live to an audience before. So I mean, we are quite not worried because you're always a little bit nervous seeing how they'll go down, you know.
No,
because
of course, no, but honestly, if it's
another big,
just from me, I've heard the songs and they're all each just as good as the other one. So get rid of those nerves straight away.
I think the hardest thing is deciding where they go in the set. That's one of the hardest things because you don't know how they're going to. One song might go down better than the other. At which point you may have put that somewhere else, maybe a bit later or whatever that may be. So that's the hardest thing. So I think the first couple of shows, I think it's Hull and Sheffield. We may or may not change the set list at that point, just to see how they go down.
Something like that. I'm quite curious. I mean, how do you gauge that? I mean, it's like I've been listening to like stand-up comics say the same. Like they can do the same joke in different places, and it can either hit or it can just bomb. So, and I imagine I imagine something similar might happen to especially if you're playing to people who haven't really heard you, if you're supporting someone, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, if the crowd are enjoying it, but sometimes it's just how it feels like coming off the back of one track and going into another. It might just not feel right for us playing it, so that might bear weight as well. But ultimately, we'll probably go down to what the crowd's response is. Where have you been hiding the first track? We have been playing that since November, and that's gone down okay. And we've just presumed that that's because it's a new track. But then we played in Plymouth at an all-day festival last week, maybe the week before,
right? And
it just went off. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone was singing it. I was like, we all came off. I was like, wow, how good was Where Have You Been Hiding then? So it just changes all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like 1 minute, one song will be like, oh, that went down. And then the next minute, like, oh, it's gone off. So it's hard to judge. But ultimately, as long as in the set, the crowd aren't that bothered. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could play it if I went to a Cortina show or I don't know, Stereophonic or someone like that. Whatever order they're in, you're not really bothered.
You don't really care in the end. You just want to hear. You want to hear a bit
of as long as the
banter in between the songs, and then the songs just to get you jumping around. You don't really mind in the end. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you can overthink that, and we do definitely. We overthink little things like that, but that's only because we care and we want to do the right thing.
Sure, yeah. But I honestly don't think you need to overthink this one because those five songs are all wicked.
Oh, I appreciate that. Nice one.
Yeah. So listen, I'm going to let you go, Ollie. Thanks so much for your time.
No worries, mate.
Wish you the best of luck with the EP. I'm sure it's going to go down really, really well, and hopefully I get to catch up with you at a gig sometime soon.
Yeah, sounds.
cause we're calling it a night. Put down your rum and coke before you get into a fight, and I will ask, when will this end? Cause you've gone and said too much again. Grab your coat, cause we're calling